And so there was some text RP, and I'll just sum up what happened. So in the text RP, after the rift closed, there's like this misty kind of fog surrounding the closure of it. And all of your exposed skin has like a very subtle kind of glitter to it, but it's almost impossible to see. You have to really look for it to see it. Something like kind of like mica on your skin. So it's almost as if you've been imprinted, having been there when the portal closed, on any exposed skin. But it's not something that you would notice easily. You have to really look for it, like I said. A few other things that happened when...
Oh, you're telling me I look like Edward Cullen?
I was going to say,
darling,
it's
I'm
not
just
that bad.
extra fabulous. All right, it's all right. Just have a little bit of a zhuzh to your face.
It might give your skin a subtle glow, even at your worst. And so when Jinyo gave the huddle and RP to hug last session, what happened in the text RP was when he leaned in and did the huddle, the necklace touched your skin, Lorian, and as it did, his pinkish gem necklace then transformed your gender, and you are now female again.
Once again.
And you all kind of deduce that gem is one of the otherworldly crystals, but it is minuscule. Another thing that happened was Gallo stumbled in very tragically, having consumed a lethal poison, wanting to be the one to sacrifice himself. After much alarm, him and Joseph came to the conclusion that the poisons that he consumed have actually been dried out, having traveled through the plague and pestilence, just like all of your food and drink that's not alcoholic. So although he did come back trying to redeem himself and make the sacrifice, he is alive and realized that Yvonne made the sacrifice, and he broke down upon hearing the news and gave Joseph his sincere condolences. So those are a few things that happened. So Gallo returned, you've changed genders, and you all have this kind of light shimmer on the skin, which is barely noticeable. Some things to consider are you have the Orb of the Dragon kind. Jinyo's character did say that he's in favor of keeping it and perhaps using it as leverage in the future, not necessarily double-crossing any dragons, but maybe using it as leverage for negotiation.
Steve, sorry to interrupt.
No problem. We have an audience member?
We might have one or two people interested in joining to come and watch.
Sure. Don't forget, everyone, when I give them the audience member role, they can join this channel, but they cannot speak, which is convenient for us. So I will give you a link, Sid. Give me a second.
For some reason, my character on D&D Beyond is level 10.
So if you guys don't want to show your faces, let's turn off your thingies.
Yeah, nobody cares.
I am all fine.
And I can stream the thingy.
All right, Sid. So I'm going to give you a no-limit invite for 1 hour. So no limit of the number, but it's good for an hour. And then once they come in here, I will just tag them with the audience role. So yeah, that's where we are, and I'll drag us back to that cell that we were in, and you can organize your stuff and decide where to go from here.
I just found Indian food and it's delicious, and I'm so relieved because good butter chicken can be hard to find in Central Maine. I'm just super happy about that and wanted to share it before we got started.
Yeah, it's always good to go into a session with some food. I worry about Roosevelt. He said he was hungry. Being
hungry
can be very distracting.
Well, Roosevelt can have some lembas spread because he's obviously an elf. I mean, look at how pretty he is.
Or good berries. That seems to be his jam lately.
Swedes are elves. And you can't convince me otherwise. Even though I know the concept of the, the Alfar is quite different.
So they're racist against dwarves? Okay, got it. Just kidding.
Svartalfs.
Svarta alver.
Oh, one other thing, Lorian. Your bag of holding is starting to overflow a little bit. Yes, welcome as an audience member. Welcome. We are picking up. Feel free, anybody can stream the Roll20 Sid if you want to. You can stream Roll20 for your friend there, so you can follow some of the... He won't get the cool audio soundtrack that sometimes bleeds through, but he will get the visuals. But yeah, so your bag of holding is spilling into your bag. There's more than 200 pounds worth of gear in there. However, I know there's a second bag of holding in the party. You can distribute as you wish, which means you'll have to figure out what Rohal is going to have possession of.
I'll stream my Roll20, so that Sid can keep his video camera on.
Cool.
Oh, I'm lagging or something?
No, just then
can
you
have
can do
both.
your video.
You can do both,
And-
actually. If your PC can handle it, it can do both. You can stream windows and screens and also your webcam.
Well, I guess tell me when stuff starts lagging or...
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't have any problems, then I don't have to stream. That's fine.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Didn't we stuff her body in the other bag of holding?
You guys choose.
Yeah.
Or I guess I think the last time what we did, there was some sort of a spell to preserve her body. Then she was wrapped up and put into a bag of holding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can choose which bag. Probably Roll Halls is more empty. I don't know. You guys let me know. You choose.
I think mine is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want her body to spill out of.
Lauren too.
Yeah.
Lorian, make a perception roll. Oh man, a 21. So you also smell shit in your bag, and you believe
what?
that you believe that your homunculus is shitting in your bag of holding.
No, fuck.
But he doesn't shit a lot, as you can tell.
I opened
I
my
saw-
bag of holding, leaned out of the homunculus. Please clean the shit out of my bag.
He nods.
Leave it on the floor. Does anybody have a? I want to give him a shit pouch or something. Someplace where he can go to the bathroom. I didn't know homunculus was shit. I'll be honest with you.
I don't even remember what they are.
So homunculus.
Should I make a roll?
Yeah, you can.
They're magical
Well, no, you would know. You would
construct.
know. So in character,
I
you
would
know.
definitely know.
So they're a magical construct made of clay and other magical things, and also the blood of whoever is the bonded person to them. Ebb's homunculus was made in the Great Library when a great wizard was already in the process of making one and gave it to her as a gift. So it's like a little personal servant made of
What do they
clay.
shit?
Yeah.
What do
They
they
do
eat? Do they eat?
They only, as far as you know, and you do know quite a bit 'cause you're a wizard, you know that they eat for pleasure, but they don't really have to eat or breathe. But they do shit, apparently, according to what you're witnessing. So,
Wonderful. Thanks, Steve.
Obviously.
yeah.
I guess when they consume something, then
This is the flair that we look for.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit of realism here and there.
oh yeah, maybe for the visitor a little bit of backstory. The portal you see in this picture, hopefully you do, it's now closed. Basically, where we last left off, I don't know, maybe Steve can give a small backstory.
I will give a super succinct backstory considering this campaign has been going on for about a year and a half. So basically the party came here to close a rift to the negative plane, which was spilling out plague and pestilence across part of the realm. They have successfully done so with the sacrifice of a very beloved NPC, and now they are deciding where to go from here. They have a big map to choose from, but they are still pretty deep inland from their ship that is
Yep.
supposedly waiting for them.
Yeah, first we need to get back to the ship and confirm it's still there.
I wonder if those plague storms have stopped then.
Hopefully. It depends which way we travel back, but if we either cross paths or go past nearby Ulrich, was it? Ulrich? No, not Ulrich. Who was the blacksmith who was left into his farm?
Right. I'm blanking out as well. 1 second.
The blacksmith's name was
Aldwulf, Master.
Aldwulf. Then maybe Joseph would just split from the party for a little bit and just go check out, because if he did commit suicide after burying his family, then who's there to bury him?
It's a good question. Well, our first concern is the black dragon that's expecting this orb from us.
Yeah, that too. I think I don't know if anyone spoke of this, but I think Lorien or someone figured from the orb that it's more to call the dragons, not to control them.
It's also evil and it'll corrupt your soul with evil. And you have to really fight to control the orb at all.
How bad of an idea is it to break it? Fuck, we could have cast it into the freaking negative plane when we had the chance. But we didn't think of that idea.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I will
And what
interrupt.
would have happened with a Drake if we did that?
I just wanted to interrupt and say, for Lorien's knowledge, she would know that the orb is very hard to destroy. Not impossible, but as most magical items are, they are very difficult to destroy. But that's all I'll say. I'll let you guys carry on.
In your world, magical items are really hard to destroy, right? Remember
Yes. Yes. Very difficult.
that.
Well, the
Persuasion.
question is... Well, the question is... Should we give it back to the dragon and hope that she leaves us alone? And she seems to want it so that others can't control her kind and draw them in and kill them.
I'm fine with those principles. Can we reassure ourselves that that's what it will be used for?
Well-
Just a question, is this out of character in a way? We're not in character right now, or
I think we're in character.
I'd say in character.
Okay, then I need to take my Russian accent back on.
Sure.
Well, like Roja said, we can't be sure that that dragon won't use that orb to assemble some sort of army herself. But you know,
she'd have to get, once she assembled them, she'd have to get them to agree to do what she wanted, as opposed to killing her and taking all of her stuff. They're not exactly loyal to one another, the evil dragons.
True that. But what kind of what would it be for us to keep this orb? Other than just it being a hindrance in our bags.
I personally wouldn't risk using it, honestly. It can corrupt you. You can...
Do we know someone who would be able to do good with it? That wouldn't be corrupted. Supposedly wouldn't be corrupted. Theoretically wouldn't be.
Perhaps somebody with incredibly powerful willpower. Maybe.
Oh.
But
We should also try to keep it away from certain individuals that are very powerful but kind of play the lands. So the Drake would be a good alternative, but then again, the Drake could also be on that individual's side. But then
she's a full dragon. And she's probably on her own side.
So in a way,
probably.
like Rohal brought up the point, it also could actually be a really good guarding way, because if she doesn't want to do anything other than just protect it from others controlling her kind, which I have to say I kind of doubt, then I think a full-on dragon in a swamp with hidden places is a pretty good guardian for a powerful artifact.
A preventative measure.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like a party like ours, we can also stun lock dragons and
Not
kill them with
anymore.
ease.
Not anymore, remember? That ability went into a gem. His soul lost forever.
If it was possible, it can be possible the dragon can lose shit.
Well, on the one
But
hand,
again, the dragon is
she's
probably
evil
less
and
bad.
murderous. On the other hand, since she's evil and murderous, do we want to make an enemy of her and have her hunt us down?
That would preferably be a no answer from me.
People are less inclined to go after a dragon that is very murderous and evil, so...
But then again, we could drop it down to the depths of the sea. somewhere so deep.
Where some sea creature could swoop it up and munch on it and become evil.
Jinyo speaks up and says, I think we're in no position here after having been through so much to use it. I think it would be best to hold on to it for now, but I think we should hold it close to our breast and not let any other hands get on it. I think that's what Jinyo would have said based on what he said.
Joseph turns to Jinyo and asks, but how do we sneak past the dragon and somehow refrain her from coming after us? I mean, we could try to fake our deaths, yeah, but we don't know how far and how much does the dragon know of this area. Last thing we want, if we get on the ship, is to be attacked out at sea by a dragon who can most likely absolutely demolish our craft and make it sink.
We could also keep it until we encounter the dragon.
Well, that's true. We don't have to seek her out, right?
So I'll have the three of you do a nature roll. I'll say that this will fall under nature. Let's see here. 16, and...
Wow.
Blank. 7.
So I would say Lorian and Joseph know that a black dragon is one of many types of chromatic dragons, which basically refers to the color. And they all have very different behaviors, personalities, and body types. You know that black dragons, both of you, and Rohal kind of knows this even with a 7, he just doesn't know the specifics. Black dragons tend to be the most vile-tempered, and they also tend to stay very close in their swamps and prefer ambush attacks. Unlike some of the other dragons that have a wider range of territory, they tend to stick in their kind of little areas and are very isolated. Now, you don't necessarily know how far this black dragon's territory is, but that's the knowledge that you have about black dragons, and I'll share that with you. So that's where you are.
We have a map, don't we?
Yes. Which map should I pull up for you guys? The map of the whole realm?
Sure, unless we have one that's more detailed of this area.
You have a map of Northold, I believe. Let me see if I can pull that up for you under notes. If anybody else finds it, let me know. Let's see, notes.
Maybe it is best to... Oh.
Here we go.
I'm just going to go to the bathroom and...
Yep.
I'll be right back.
Northold village map.
And the swamp was to
He was allowed to run my voice. I do have my headset on. So
no problem. Yeah, so the map, so the swamp was further into the east. To the left there, you see the river, the Northold River. And then there's east of this small village where you fought the beastie with eyes. I don't know if you remember that one with the crows.
I was gone for that.
Yeah, to the east of that is the swamplands, which took you a great deal of time to get through. And then kind of north of that would be the hundreds and hundreds of tombs which lay at the hills of the Northold Mountains, which you guys are right at the base of. And so
where's my tower?
Your tower?
Joseph.
Or keep or whatever it is. I own land here somewhere, right?
I'm so glad you remember that. Yes. So based on some paperwork you found, I think in Gryold, you know that there is a Bellmare keep. You've already gone through the Bellmare estate. The Bellmare keep. Let me see if I can pick that up for you. There's so many notes here, which could give you some insight as to where that would be. Gosh, there's so many notes. I'm scrolling through them.
Character.
Real estate paperwork. I'll read it aloud to you all, and I'll show it to you all as well. Paperwork detailing the co-ownership of real estate. Joint ownership transferred from the deceased Lord Bellmore to Dirinor Cromwell. Properties listed in copies of the deeds in this ownership transference. The Bellmare Estate at Morden's Crevasse, Northern Dwalin Mountains, Dwaland. You've already been there. The Bellmare Keep, Cliffshade Ridge, the Pure Marsh, Northold.
Pure Marsh.
You believe the Pure Marsh to be sort of further away from the Dark Marsh, which is what you've already passed through. Then you also have two other properties in other areas. The Bellmare Cemetery in Ivestad, Enemark. Ivestad is the area that you believe the slaves are going to be sacrificed for Gonadar. Then the Bellmore Observatory in Stilvin Way, Argonon in the Republic of Venzia, which is across the sea to the east. which is the most established republic in the entire realm. It's one of the more hubs of civilization. So you have a total of 4 properties to your name currently.
I'm chewing lamb, sorry.
That sounds good.
Joseph speaks up. Well, even though if we want to bring it back to a dragon, then isn't the only way we know back to the swamp currently blocked because the way back from the dungeon was cut off?
So I'll just also add, the map isn't as detailed, but your character kind of should know, based on some notation on the map, that the Pure Marsh is actually a little bit to your north. You've already pushed through the catacomb area, so it wouldn't require backtracking, you believe. You're not entirely sure. And you can also do another nature roll for navigation, any of you, to make sense of some of the notations scribbled on the map, to kind of help you with that. Let's see what you get. Oh, 22, Joseph. Well played. We'll chalk it up to your navigation of the city and surrounding area as well. So you believe, Joseph, that the Pure Marsh will be located. You notice that it's not just Pure Marsh. The finer address, the more detailed address, is Cliffshade Ridge. So even though it's the Pure Marsh, you believe that's the larger surrounding area, because the full address is the Bellmare Keep, Cliffshade Ridge, the Pure Marsh, Northold. So the more specific area is Cliffshade Ridge, which means it's got to be on some of the cliffs, based on the notation. Could be closer to the edges of the mountains where you are now, to your north.
So basically the keep is might be somewhere in the mountains.
Yeah, and based on the knowledge of the land, you could potentially go northeast along the ridges, and have some options along the rolling hills that you saw from your high ground earlier before entering Golazar's lair. There's a bit of hills and forest area that also lead to the shoreline that way. The way you came also has the swamp land that leads back to Northold, and then you can also go back on horseback along the river, which was very kind of hazardous for the most part. So you have different options.
Question quickly. How long does that preservation spell last?
Good question. I'll pull that up because I'm going on the vanilla rules for that. Let's see.
Like
repose.
A few days, I think.
Like a month.
It says
it's
10 days. 10 days, and it
10
will.
days. Okay.
You touch a corpse or other remains for the duration. The target is protected from decay and can't become undead. The spell also effectively extends the time limit on raising a target. Blah blah blah. So mainly it's preserving it from decay for 10 days.
But I can use it again. Can I have several? I can refresh it, I think.
I will tell you how many charges are on that.
I think you said 3 or something. I can't recall though.
I'm checking my notes. 5 charges.
Okay.
So you've used 1. You have 4 left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joseph basically just says what you said out loud and advises maybe going by the ridge to maybe also find the keep, and most likely find a way from there to bring the orb to the dragon.
All right. Well, given that we've got 50 days, I think that we can afford to make the trip to the keep. Perhaps there's something that we can find there that'll be useful for us. Perhaps it'll give us some insight into our enemy. Since it did go from Lord Bellmare to Dearnor Cromville.
There might be some artifacts we could use from there indeed. But we don't know what kind of dangers there are. Could be occupied by someone, you never know.
I think that we should try to move stealthily in case our little friend in the swamp is flying high. We don't want her to see us.
I'm also giving Ev inspiration for remembering that she had ownership of Bellmare Keep after over 6 months of not mentioning it in real time. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually happy about that.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, carry on. I said to put that in there. Go on.
Out of character, what do we have 50 days for the slave sacrifice?
Well, she multiplied the 5 charges with gentle repose, so the body won't decompose after 50 days of using all the charges on the wand. 1 charge was already used.
All right, the slave sacrifice. When is that supposed to happen?
So that's an excellent question. You actually have no idea, but you do know that Dearnor was likely leaving Gryold about a week ago. but you also on your travels also heard that he was handling some other things on the way too. So you don't really know. You don't know what the sacrifice entails. You just know that they are planning to sacrifice many slaves to help raise Gondor's presence. You don't know anything else about anything, unfortunately.
Alright.
I asked Joseph. So as
gonna-
after
Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to pull up a map for your convenience while also discussing about this map of the realm. Go on.
if we would, so thinking of the realm or like the riches, at what point is there a convenient place to turn towards the swamp, the black swamp where the dragon is?
Are you talking to me or are you talking in character?
You.
It would take you about a day or half a day to go from here to the Black Swamp, but that is there were will-o-wisps there, which you don't believe was necessarily part of the rift. And you also know there's a black dragon there with an ill temper who decided to almost kill you and all your horses. But you narrowly talked your way out of it.
Wisps.
So,
I'm going to make a wisdom save throw for.
intelligence.
No. I'm thinking of like I'm thinking of if Joseph would volunteer to go there while the others go to the keep, he would go maybe alone to the dragon to give the orb. It's a stupid idea, but
Man's got balls. Man's got balls.
would it be a wisdom save or intelligence save to see if he has courage?
Wisdom.
It would definitely be. I'll have you do a wisdom right now for that. It's just a wisdom roll, not a save. No, it's not a
Or
save.
not-
Roll just wisdom. Roll just wisdom.
just wisdom. Okay. Yeah, not one. No, he ain't gonna go
So
there alone.
we're gonna say that although you might have the want to do it, you are truly fearful of facing this dragon alone in that swamp. Everything about it makes Joseph frightful, which makes sense. I mean, Joseph isn't exactly as seasoned as some of these other adventurers, and a black dragon is no simple
And
foe.
last time when we even was fighting, then Joseph fucking panicked and also,
Yes, but I will say by the end of the fight, he did do some courageous acts, which are pushing him into the area of being more of an adventurer, which is kind of cool. It's character arc, you know.
I actually can't remember what I did there, but
You
Joseph,
did cool shit. You did cool shit. I thought you were gonna die.
I can't remember shit anymore. I remember the cliffhanger where we were at fighting Golazar, but
Falmanar
But
steps.
Do you,
Falmanar steps forward.
do you,
and- Yeah, go on. Sorry. No, I want to hear it.
do
Go
you,
ahead.
yeah, do you remember when we did some mistake?
Golazar fell down.
Like where we actually like realized that at first we thought that Gonadar we pushed him
it's going
down.
to fall. Yeah, I'm going to fall down to Joseph. And Joseph,
Golazar. Yeah. And you
Joseph
felt-
What
is
did I say? Yeah, Galazar. Yeah, like that was absolutely fucking hilarious. You just do this whole thing, push that like creature down in the like.
I dodged it,
in the
and
depths.
I dodged it. I was hanging to the fucking cliff. It missed its attacks.
Yeah,
No, it
and
won.
it tried to charge you and it flew over you and fell to its death.
Yeah.
And then like I forget what my mistake was, but I made it so that he literally fell down. Like Golazar he would probably have ended you and Ivan. It would have been rough. Very rough.
It would for sure have done. I mean, what would he have done to him? Yeah.
He probably
What
could
have you
have done it in
done to
like
the
one
guy?
turn too. He probably could have done both of you in one turn.
Just Joseph trying to
You
hang on
enjoy that
to
not
life.
too much, Steve.
But I know it's great. It's cool because I actually
Like,
had some,
it was
I had some
just-
interesting storytelling for that too. But anyway, I don't want to
Anyway.
drag too. So I will say that Falmanar does step forward as you guys unfurl the map. One of you, I don't care who, to discuss. And Falmanar does say, with reservation, I don't know what the best route would be. As you know, I've spoken with Beatrice quite a bit, and there's only so much I can say. Because if what is to come is spoken of, it won't happen. And so you can
Okay.
incite that if you wish, but that's all he
shall do
says.
that. 9.
And, just as a reminder, Beatrice is a diviner, to the point of no novice. She may even be, as what we would call in the realm, God-touched, somebody who has abilities beyond what someone who studies should have. So Lorien is the only one who might see in Falmanar's face that he has lots of concern over going straight to Ivastad. However, all of you don't know how much time you have, so that is also a concern. There's several concerns. Yeah.
All right. I think we should check out my keep here and see what's going on with that.
But here's the question: either do we
Let's vote on the dragon though. Should we go to the swamp and give her the orb now, or should we just try to avoid her?
We'll just go about our day, and when she comes, she comes.
Joseph by
wanted
default
to-
has to say not to go because he's afraid.
not to
unfortunately.
go.
Oh well. Bellmare can't vote, of course.
Jinyo says that he will not choose to go to the dragon. He thinks we should hold on to the orb. And Falmanar says that although he cannot say much, there may be an option to get more funding for the quest. But that's all he'll say.
Alright. Okay, so let's go to the pure marsh instead of the black marsh. And
Let's-
try to...
Let's follow the mountains. That's most likely where our keep is.
Well,
Because it's a easily defendable position. I mean, swamps are.
it's a
Sure.
cliff. It's a cliff in the marsh area, right? In the pure marsh area. That's what it said on the
Yes,
deed,
you believe
yeah?
you believe it is. You believe that the pure marsh is sort of the larger area, like a district, and the cliff. I already forget what it's called, but it's on the paperwork. The cliff sides are kind of a more fine point on it, so you're already in the higher altitude areas. You believe that heading northbound would bring you to that region, or northeast.
Alright.
At least.
Then
Well, in that
north we go. Hmm?
Let's get the horses, and Joseph starts walking towards the doors and where the horses are, leaving his eye patch on the altar.
Interesting.
So we
I
can see
should
your.
have read all the text RP, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read all the text RP.
Me neither.
I
Fools.
kept-
Oh god, this is very pixelated for me.
Not for me. It's crystal clear.
It's loading
Yeah.
in, I guess.
Do we have our characters as well?
This is. Isn't this? What is this, Steve?
Does anything happen on the travel? I guess we just teleport here.
Do
Steve?
we have things that we wanted to do on the map as well, like on the way out?
Yeah. Where?
Steve, are you there?
Stevie boy.
Sorry, I forgot I muted my software. I was saying that the journey took just almost a day, not as long as you all anticipated in character. You arrive here. You can drag your characters on. I was saying that you can drag them on because sometimes there's glitches when I drag them on.
Where do we have? I guess at the
On
road.
the left side of the map. And the journey.
Can't even remember. How
The
to
journey
do that.
shows that there are.
Right.
The journey
It's
shows that
supposed
there
to
are
be,
no more tempests.
Just
You see no crumbling away vegetation, and you see new buds forming, new blades of grass coming up, new leaves sprouting from the trees. Trees that were once somewhat dead are coming somewhat back to life. It seems that the closing of the rift was successful. And you see what appears to be a kind of keep, kind of a manor. There are stone walls. It is the Bellmare keep, and it is completely crumbled and destroyed. Its walls, its ceilings are caved in. It is a wreckage.
Well, this is a shithole.
Which place was the Bellmare Keep again?
So the campaign.
Well, I don't
known
know
as-
that, do I?
known as, oh, sorry, I'm
I'd
talking
explain it.
character
I'd
play.
explain it on the way.
So yeah, so Rohal knows that Lorien inherited several properties, one of them being the Bellmare inheritance, which she went to, that Diranor was living in at the time. And he sort of left everything and all the properties derelict after leaving it for his obsession over Gonadar. And so that's what originally summoned her to this realm from across the sea to the west. She's here to inspect her properties. And this is the second one she's inspecting, the Bellmare Keep. Very
Gotcha.
underwhelming it is for her. She's surprised
I'm
to see
nobility,
this there.
and I'm used to nice places, and this is not nice.
A keep once stood, but time has done its job. Joseph tries the door.
You don't happen to know a powerful mending spell by chance?
I could mend, probably. Actually, do I? No, I don't even have the cantrip, darling. I couldn't even mend an inch of this. I pick up a brick and I stack it on top of another brick.
I would hire a mason or two.
I mean, I'm not sure it's worth it. I'm gonna go looking through these bookshelves and or whatever these are.
Sure.
I'm just gonna try and find anything. See if we can find anything to salvage, I suppose.
Joseph, all the doors are open and blasted open and destroyed. All the locks are kind of rusted and unlocked anyways.
What do we think happened?
Make an investigation roll, Hall.
Yeah, it was more of a question towards Ev, but I hear you.
Oh, my mistake.
I'll just make a slight... I don't know. Yeah.
Either way, your character is thinking that, so...
Yeah.
22, my goodness.
I'd actually... never mind.
I'm just Sherlock Holmes in here.
Yes.
Right now. Just this very moment.
So...
Deductive
Damn, you
reason
guys with your rolls are so erratic. Sometimes they're like 1 and sometimes they're like above 20.
Dude, this is the first roll I'm having now. Before
looks like a
it's been
dragon
like,
fucked it.
I think on our campaign we've had like a 30 once or twice as well, which is absolutely fucking insane. So Roll Hall, when he hears Lorien say it looks like a dragon fucked it, notices that there are burns throughout the keep, but not fire burns. Rohal, as a druid, often meddles with the different base elements and knows the difference between different types of burns and chemical reactions. And he believes that these might be acid burns. Acid burns which are much like the dragon that he saw spit acid. He believes that perhaps the red or the black dragon did come through here at some point. And with a 22 investigation, he can also tell that it wasn't recent. This probably happened maybe even years ago. Other creatures probably came through here. He sees footprints of all various woodland animals and feces that have been dried for years. Things that have passed through here from the wilderness far before the plague has passed through here.
This is a very poop-heavy session. Do you need a break, Steve?
Ev, poop is a part of realism and immersion. Okay. If there's no poop, in fact, Lorian's bladder seems kind of full right now. She sees an outhouse or whatever it's called, old-fashioned toilet down the end of the hallway there at the top left.
She plucks a photo of the magical controller out of the sky and pees on it.
Oof.
As Joseph walks through these places, he just peeks in, gives a look around, maybe something valuable, something of interest, something that pokes into the eye.
Make an investigation.
I suppose all three of us will make an investigation roll since we're all looking through things.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to investigate the outhouse since apparently the powers that be have decided that I need to pee. So
it appears to be
20.
It appears to be one of the places that has the least amount of feces and urine.
That makes sense. Well, I aim to change that, I guess.
There you go.
So what does Rohal find?
Rohal actually does find something as he makes his way eventually into the larger common room here at the bottom that is covered in rubble and slate and cobblestone that has caved in. He sees within the fireplace, which stands only at its base, what appears to be a leather-bound book wedged within it, as if it were hidden within the fireplace. And when he opens it, he sees that it is a book that talks about archaic rituals and customs that have been long forgotten. The book is actually titled Rituals and Customs Forgotten, and with a 25 investigation, absolutely exceptional. Realizes that there have been some pages ripped out in the center of the book, a group of pages that have been ripped out, which he believes might have been as part of relevance or research to whoever lived here perhaps Bellmare himself, but somebody was researching a very specific ritual and ripped out pages of the book. Everything else in the book seems to be quite archaic. I don't know whether he chooses to keep it or not, but there are some things there, sociological things there about different regions and cultures.
What should I call it?
It is called the Book of Rituals and Customs. I would call it the Book of Rituals, just a short book, rituals. Book about rituals. Joseph, you, with an 11, can very simply see, especially in the room that you're in, there are some paintings of different types of chromatic dragons, coincidentally. In the room that you're in, you see a painting of a red dragon wormling, very young. A painting of a red dragon adult, and a painting of a black dragon adult. And Lorien, in the room that you're in, also Rohal did notice as well, there are two paintings of there's a white dragon adult and a purple dragon adult. Purple, yes. It appears to be much more slender than dragons you've heard of. Out of all the dragons that you've seen in these paintings so far, the purple dragon is one that you know the least about.
That must be a 5e thing.
Make an intelligence roll on purple dragon you have specifically.
Okay.
Now that you're kind of looking over it and mulling over it. 24. Exceptional. I'm going to have to give you more information. And you also have, what's his name? You have Fridgeek standing next to you. And Fridgeek actually speaks up as you're analyzing and thinking about your studies. And he says, the purple dragons we've made peace with in the Underdark, where he came from. He says, we lived with them symbiotically. We chose not to disturb them and paid them tribute. And they lived in their lair. And he stops for a moment and he thinks. And he thinks about the cultists pushing down in there. And the chaos that happened. And the slaughter and the genocide. And something stands out to him and he says, I don't know, but for some reason some of them were pushing beyond toward the dragon's lair. I'll have to think more about this, he says, as he mulls around and looks throughout the destroyed keep.
So these are Underdark dragons of some sort.
As Rohal explores quite a bit with his swift footing, he also notices the rest of the paintings. And in total, there are 7 paintings, including the ones already mentioned. There's also a painting of a white dragon adult, a brown dragon adult, and a blue dragon.
But no metallic dragons, all chromatic, that tend to be evil in orientation.
Well, some of them are, some of them aren't. I guess you're right, yeah, most of them are evil. So, you've already made your intelligence roll, Ev. So I will say that you also have heard of, in your studies, actually I would say Lorien and Rohal both know this, but Joseph doesn't necessarily know these specifics. Brown dragons are wingless, and they tend to remain in deserts and prefer ambushes from beneath the sand. And blue dragons take to the skies quite a bit, and prefer hunting and traveling through storms. And they can also produce hallucinations and things like that. They're exceptional at aerial combat. And the white dragons, they're also known as ice dragons, or glacial worms. They were known as the smallest and weakest of the dragons, the chromatic dragons. But they were by no means harmless. They were well suited for Arctic combat and things like that, and they breathed a cone of ice. So it seems like somebody here has had a fascination with dragons. Maybe a collector, maybe someone researching. Hard to say.
I contemplate that horn, that pterodon bone blowing horn that I found and of course Felminar's dragon scale armor, and the fact that our line clearly had passionate dragon hunters involved in this particular branch of the family.
Lorien remembers when she says that and recalls her past and her adventures, that Diranor did indeed slay the red dragon, which was responsible for killing his wife and infant child.
Yes, he did.
He slayed the dragon, and you also know that you and your group slayed that dragon's son.
Yeah.
You don't know what came of the body, as you left it there in the court of Gryold.
Yeah.
And you've
We did
crossed,
take a few chunks, though.
Indeed. And you've come across a black dragon as well. So, just something of note.
So I see that Rohal has shown his book of rituals. I'd like to look through that, please, Rohal. If you don't mind.
Well, holding it up to you.
I take the book and I look through it.
Okay.
Can I get any insight from that?
You see that the book touches upon mostly archaic cultures and rituals, just as he did. Some of them are very mundane, like halflings will have this festival on this time of year by eating a roasted pig, and tieflings will leave an offering to their god at their statues at this time of year, all kind of peaceful things. Some of them ancient, some of them more contemporary, but you don't know what pages have been ripped out. You also take note that a couple of pages have been ripped out in the center.
There's no
You don't
index
learn
at
to
the
make
end, Steve?
As you turn to the index, you see that there is one note noting that missing section, and it simply says Dragon Skull Ritual.
Do I know anything about a dragon skull ritual?
Make another intelligence roll for recalling your studies. Even with a higher roll, you would not know what that is. You do not know what that is.
Are you
can only
thinking out
assume-
loud?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna... Well, according to the index, those missing pages refer to a dragon skull ritual, which I've never heard of. I know nothing of it.
I will say that druids are a little bit more familiar in archaic rituals than even a learned wizard. So you can make an intelligence roll.
What's the difference between intelligence and wisdom in this regard?
So wisdom has a lot to do with sort of like timeless practical knowledge and also willpower and overcoming fear. And intelligence comes from straight crystallized intelligence and knowledge and trivia. I will let you use a wisdom instead if you wish to. In this
I
regard,
mean, I have
because
a
you're a
higher
druid,
point, but I think this is fine. Intelligence.
You did
No,
intelligence
that was a save anyway.
Yeah, it's not a save yet.
So
you can-
that's
you can-
so
you can
that's
roll. I'll let you choose at this point if you want to do intelligence or wisdom.
yeah.
As a druid, I'll let you do it. I'm a little more lenient
Yeah.
with druids using wisdom for things like that because of their background. I kind of like to differentiate the skills people have. 19 is pretty
Well,
good.
there you go.
Well,
Okay, well, you're not going to know exactly what the ritual is or what it's called for, but based on what you've heard and based on your study of rituals, you know that sometimes using particular parts of animals or creatures in rituals, particularly their skulls, most often, if you have a certain number of skulls, you can perform things of great power. Did he lose connection? Let me see here. He lost connection. Shit. Well, welcome back. Sorry, I was just saying that, I don't know if you can hear it, but you know that...
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
no
back.
problem. No problem. You know that often rituals that involve specific animal types or bodies often use skulls, a certain number of skulls. And you know that dragons are one of the more powerful creatures in the realm, aside from things like tarasques or purple worms. Purple worms. So you believe that whatever this ritual is, it must be more powerful than any ritual you've ever heard of. You assume that it's using the skulls of dragons, but you can only assume. Other rituals might use ground up body parts, this or that, but you assume it has to deal with dragon body parts in one way or another.
Alright, cool. I share this information with the individual standing next to me. By the way, did you say that you did not want to, you don't have any plans about fixing this place up?
Not at the moment, no. I really don't see myself living here. I don't really see myself using this as a vacation spot. I mean, I'm sure some people find it to be very festive to wade through oceans of desiccated corpses left behind from a horrendous plague. But, not quite my thing, darling.
Would you
Doesn't-
mind me
it doesn't make for-
decorating it in a Druidic manner?
You want to give it back to nature, is what you're saying.
Take it as you will. Yeah.
Well, let's just look through it a little bit more first, and then that's fine.
Very well.
So, are any of these paintings especially gorgeous? Like, the only problem that I really have with just destroying it all is the art.
I mean, we can just bring it with us, no? Bag of holdings and all that jazz.
That's true. Do you like the dragon paintings? How are the dragon paintings, Steve? Are they really nice?
So each painting is about 2 feet by 3 feet, and each painting is it's not the best painting you've ever seen, but they're pretty good. They're somewhat realist. They're not impressionist, and they have survived most of the damage. Some of them are a little more damaged than others. None of them are in pristine conditions. They all have a little bit of water damage. But you're surprised at their condition. You don't believe that they hold value. Joseph is a little more expert at appraising the value of art as a thief.
I wanna examine them, the paintings and the frames and the back of the paintings, and see if there's anything maybe hidden in them that we missed.
Certainly. Make an investigation roll. So, as you investigate them, you see nothing of importance. Until you check the back of the brown dragon painting, and you find some of the missing pages from the book. And it indeed details that. Let me pull up my notes here. It details some of the ritual. Something about 7 dragon skulls being needed in order to complete a ritual. Also requiring human sacrifice beforehand.
Oh shit, does it say what it does?
Something of bringing back demigods.
Bringing back demigods.
No,
Which unfortunately-
demigods are good.
Which unfortunately can also mean an Elder One depending on the tongue that it's written in and the interpretation. And it's frustrating for Lorien to think that this can be tied to Gonadar. And that perhaps her party slaying the young red dragon and leaving the body there could have awarded her enemy yet another dragon skull.
Fuck.
And realizing that the orb of the dragon kind, if in the wrong hands, could only make such a ritual more easy to complete.
Fuck! Echoes through the hills. Birds fly.
Some birds do fly, now that life has returned to the lands.
Joseph alone just says, fucking dude, I guess.
And Lorien sits on a broken pillar. My family sucks. So, I noticed that Rohal was examining those stairs over there, Steve. Did they go anywhere?
They do not.
No. Rohal, look what I found.
Yeah.
I hand him the pages.
You still have the book, so.
Yeah, but I hand him the pages that I found behind the painting.
All right, you can't even mend it, right?
No.
All the pages
you
are not
can.
there. Sorry, go on. I was just saying all the pages are not there, but he deduces the same information with Lorien's assistance.
Cool.
Great.
And not cool, but
Yeah.
Cool. Do we know any good demigods?
Personally, I don't think I know any demigods. Do you? I mean, I get
suppose
around.
Intelligence roll?
Yeah. I get around, darling, but can't say I got any of those notches on my bedpost.
Can't say that I do either, sadly. But then again, what demigod would interest me?
What?
Demigods are just like gods. They're just creatures that think too highly of themselves and have more power than they should.
I'm glad you've got healthy self-esteem, darling.
Steve,
Yes, Joseph.
as Joseph sits on the table alone, the loot of friends hanging on the side of his backpack, he decides to take it out and just start pulling the strings, see what noise it makes. Maybe somehow be able to make some melody, or just maybe he thinks and just pulls the strings and just is there.
Does he have any background in music? I need to know ahead of time.
No, he doesn't know anything about music. Like I said, he just starts like a
Just
person.
imagine a 5-year-old with a ukulele. Bling, 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 bling.
Just trying to see what noises it makes, if it's any good, if it's even if there is any point to sell it, maybe even, but maybe just to like make some noise, a little bit of noise in this silent room while looking at the paintings, and maybe also thinking about them too.
So as Joseph plucks the strings, although he doesn't know how to play the instrument, he recognizes that as a magical instrument it is in fairly good condition. It is more durable than a regular instrument. It seems to be somewhat in tune even though he doesn't know what he's doing with it. The sounds, although are disjointed, are clear, they're crisp. And they do ring out through the halls of this fallen keep. The notes don't necessarily bring a sense of solace because they are disjointed, but he can tell the instrument is in good shape. And he thinks that it would be worth a little something.
Anything else stick into my eye in this room? Maybe something more about the paintings or about the room, if there is any, even or I could do anymore for that.
The acid burns are unmistakable, and unless Rohal told you about them, you may not know exactly what caused them, but you can definitely see some blackened, burned lines across the wooden floors and stone.
He just continues to pluck the strings and see what the instrument does. Maybe find a little, some sort of small melody.
And Rohal can make one additional investigation to try to find any hidden areas or things like that.
God damn it.
You find nothing nothing out of the ordinary with the masonry or the woodwork of this place. Neither does Lorien.
I got a rug burn. Trying to look.
Performance.
Joseph, you put your loot away and you give a more thorough look at the area. You notice the same little hidden compartment that Rohal already found in the fireplace and are somewhat impressed by that. But you find no other hidden or unusual things with the masonry or woodwork in this place. And anything that may have been hidden...
That was the performance roll.
My mistake. Well, regardless, you did do a search, being that you are a little bit more skilled at finding traps and hidden doors. And you also come to the conclusion that you don't find anything. Your performance of 20 shows that although you are not skilled in playing instruments, you managed to at least pull a light melody off of only one string alone.
Better than nothing.
I'm looking at the cliffs around the house. Are there
very
any
good.
outbuildings? Are there any holes in the cliff or anything like that.
You do not see anything else of that nature. However, you do see that there is a lookout point not too far from where you are along the cliff sides, which will allow you to look further to the east, which, if the day is clear, which it is, it's kind of dusk now. Sorry, morning now. You should be able to, it's dawn, you should be able to see toward the sea.
I'm gonna take a look-see at the lookout point then. Everyone is welcome to join me. Falmanar, of course, is going to come and guard.
It is a bit of a walk, so that's a decision you're gonna have to make if you want people to join you or not.
I'm gonna call on people. Ah.
Let me see here. So Rohal is what do you just tell me on mic, dude? What are you casting here? What's going on?
Basically, everywhere where there is any kind of plants or possibility for plants, there will like sprout and they will like bloom up and start growing immensely in 100-foot radius from the center of this building. So everywhere where there's possible, this place will be completely overgrown, basically.
So as a druid, yeah. Tell me.
And I don't know. It's more of a, this place is not going to be used anyway, so I'm taking it back to, I'm like reducing it back to.
What a very inspired thing to do there.
Inspiration point. Okay, so as a druid, you notice
I
that.
was gonna message you and say give him one for that.
Nah, too late. I already got it. So, despite the fact that this place has been ravaged by the necrotic tempest, you see that it is particularly resilient, and there have been little bits of ivy and weeds that have survived. And although many look upon weeds with a frown, you are happy to see that life has been resilient here. And when you
if there's shit everywhere, there's usually seed. If there's seed, and like a lot of
back to the poop.
Yes, exactly. Places like this are just a good safe haven for nature, and that often leaves lots of feces and fertilizer, and that's also often good for just life in general, whether you plant or muskrat. So indeed, you have much ivy sprout through the woodwork and cover most of this area. It's much more to your liking now. I don't have a token for it, but it is now kind of writhing in a deep green ivy thanks to your spell.
Mm-hmm. Is this like a tree or something?
It is not a tree. It is just like a kind of like a broken down fire pit area.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, just stone.
All right.
Just in the fucking room, just so you guys know.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna have a fun time making it out of there.
I had
broken down windows.
He's now getting choked out by ivy.
I called everybody to come with to leave, so I was assuming that probably Joseph would have come out before.
He's being stubborn, playing.
I will say part of the walls are broken down, so he can make it out easily. He may be a bit startled. I don't blame him for being a bit jumpy with everything that's been happening lately. Yes, but if you all are joining Lorien, I will say that you progress, and we shall make it to this area
lookout
here. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even need to drag your tokens here, because I'll just give you a little description here. So as you
I've seen this before.
Have you? And in another campaign?
In a different campaign, yeah. We took out a bunch of bandits and we knocked them out and kept all their pants.
Oh, not bad. Pants are often important, not always.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
So from here, this DM's got maps up the ass, so we're gonna just use this for 3 seconds and move on. So from here you can see all the way to the sea, but I might need some keen elven eyes, as J.R. Tolkien would write, to see further.
What do your elven eyes see?
You have elven eyes too.
My elven eyes see 16.
I want to see what Roll is.
31.
God damn.
So
Gotcha, fam.
Lorien has a hard time seeing on So Lorien has a hard time seeing on the glimmer of the sunrise on the east. Yes, the sun does rise in the east in this world. Rohal, however, with the 21 can see just beyond the glimmer and see what appears to be the ship that he arrived here on, not too far from the shore in that direction. And so you are far too high up. You continue to make your way along the cliff sides and make your way to this area here. And you see an unmistakable giant nest with 3 eggs within, from what you can see as you make your way along the cliffside.
What do you mean by unmistakable?
It's not like just foliage, like it is unmistakably a nest. It is as it is in the picture.
What kind of nest is it, Steve?
Well, you rolled a 22, so it looks like we're gonna have to get into the nitty-gritty. You believe that it is a giant eagle nest. And Lorien and Rollhall, because Rollhall's going to get a bit of a boosted number as a druid. I do that. It's not just base numbers. You know, depending on your background, you get boosts or decreases. So Rollhall and Lorien are both going to take a look at these 3 eggs and see that 2 of them have been kind of cracked and killed by the necrotic storms. 1 of them remains. Lorien, even with your 22, all you know of it is that it is likely a giant eagle egg, and the egg itself probably weighs at least 50 pounds. You can convert that to kilograms. Go ahead. But anyway, it's about 50 pounds. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty big. But only Rollhall realizes that it is somewhat speckled. It is speckled brown. And he knows that among the giant eagles, there is a thing. If they are pure white, they tend to be raised and are healthy, kind of alignment of good. If they're speckled, sometimes they can be a little bit more neutral and a little bit more of a loner culturally among their kind. Still not bad beings. This egg is speckled brown, but also has some streaks of black in it as well. Not really sure what to make of it. Rollhall's never seen or heard of anything like that before. But the egg appears to be still intact. It has some warmth to it.
1 single egg.
The other 2 are, unfortunately, destroyed, cracked open.
I assume we don't hear anything.
Make a perception roll.
Well, technically we already... No, we didn't. Never mind.
Joseph is
Well, we did earlier.
Joseph is standing far behind, not going anywhere near that cliff edge.
Well, my Hawkeyes are out. And ears, I guess.
25 perception from a druid involving a nature-based circumstance. He can tell.
Ought to be good.
He can tell that this nest has been abandoned. He doesn't know why. Perhaps it was the necrotic storms. Perhaps the giant eagle had to deal with other things, or perhaps it abandoned the egg because of the brown speckles and its significance, the brown speckles. But this nest has been abandoned for some time. He hears nothing, but he also knows that an egg in development will not make any noise at all anyway. He thinks that this has been abandoned and there is 1 healthy egg remaining.
Do you think you could fit that in your bag of holding? We do have a zoologist.
Information before she says that, and then she says that, and I will say, yes, that is actually exactly what I'm thinking.
Does the even the mouth of the bag of holding even fit the width of the egg?
Barely.
You can... Very well. It works. Barely is enough.
It has to be stretched to its absolute limit to fit this egg in.
Yeah. Well,
and also, Rollhall knows that should the egg continue to live and not die, it will grow in size, which means it could become too big to take out of the bag if he doesn't keep an eye on it.
Best keep an eye on it then.
Yeah. I will leave an opening in it. So there's, yeah.
Okay.
Like air coming in somehow.
Or should just
and stuff. Yeah, okay.
Question
You successfully take the egg. The party continues along the cliffside and finally comes to... This is not an altar, it is a non-denominational resting point and lookout. Some ancient architecture. perhaps human in construction. You don't need to roll on that. It is much similar to the catacombs, human construction for the paladins. Just seems to be a place where maybe some respects were paid, things like that. You still have a view of the shoreline, however. Some of the clouds begin rolling in, and you see a rope left there, a rope that perhaps can be used for descent. Perhaps some people who used to tend to the giant eagles or harvest their eggs used that rope to make their way up and down the cliff sides.
2 questions.
Sure.
Can I see the Black Swamp from here?
You cannot see the Black Swamp from here. The Black Swamp is further
I can.
southwest. Well, actually, unfortunately, you can't, because the Black Swamps are kind of in the other direction to the southwest, and you're looking out from the cliff sides to the east, which is straight
It wasn't what
to
I was
the
looking for
coastline.
anyway.
Correct. Is that a new roll of 26 or?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Okay, so even through kind of the mists that are rolling in the morning cool air, and it is very cool here still. It's not like as cold as Gryld, but it is very cool here. You still can see kind of the ship gently rocking. You believe that it is anchored, based on the way it is rocking. You believe that it's anchored. The sails are closed. You cannot see anybody on board from where you are, but you believe that it's the same make, the same ship at least.
But then there is also the second question.
Gotcha.
The rope, Joseph inspects it if it has withered or rotten with either the necrotic fog or time spent there.
Make an investigation roll.
Please, 22.
22, and my man has used ropes. It is a silk rope. If it were hempen, you believe that it would have been much further rotted from the storms. It appears to have been here for a while, but as a silken rope, has withstood the test of time.
Would it support us all at the same time if we would descend, or would it be more wiser to go either 2 at a time or 1 at a time?
Good question. I'm actually going to pull up base stats, because I'm going to go by that. Silk rope. I'm going to say that, yes, it can hold about 3 of you at a time. 3 or 4 of you at a time. 4 of you at a time, and it has about 100 feet of length. And you believe the cliffside to be approximately 100 to 80 feet high.
Well, Joseph says, alright, I guess I'll go test the grounds. And is a rope like over here? Up here?
I hope you have fair fall. No, I'm kidding. It is it is right there on the
I do.
the point of the, there you go, it's right there.
I guess Joseph said, alright, I guess I'll go test the grounds, and throws the thing down.
The rope unfurls beautifully. The pillar that it's on appears to be strong. And are you making your way down, or are you just having a look?
As a thief, from descending higher places, would it be maybe a little bit wiser to kinda put one round of, how to say this, so that you just don't go straight down, but you just kind of loop.
Create friction by a loop.
You want to?
Yeah, put one loop around my waist.
Yes, it will make you dedicated to that descent, as you cannot let go of the rope. Yes, but it will also make your descent slightly more controlled. Yeah.
I would like to do that.
Okay.
And
it'll take you some time, because if you're giving yourself a full loop, you have to pull the whole 100-foot rope up. So yeah, you're dedicating yourself to that rope. You're tying yourself in with a loop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to pull it all up. It just can be down there. I just put one loop around me. If that's.
Oh, you mean like around your waist or something? Yeah, I got you. Okay. Yeah.
And I guess dedicate myself to the descent before going over that. I guess I'll say, I'll see you on the other side, and he jumps over.
Yep. You are going to make a dexterity roll. There should be no problems, but if you roll poorly, there can be problems. Just as all things in D&D. You set a good example for the others.